Hello, my name is Chris Brown. I'm a doctoral candidate at NC State, and I'm excited to present our work, Understanding the Impact of GitHub Suggested Changes on Recommendations Between Developers. First, what is the GitHub Suggested Changes feature? In October 2018, GitHub released a new system that allows developers to provide specific and actionable recommendations on pull requests. For example, we see here that a reviewer suggests not using single character variable names, and they propose a specific change, changing the variable name from C to count, in order to improve the code in the pull requests. The developer, on the other hand, has the option to automatically apply this change using the commit changes button, adds it as a commit to their pull request. So we were curious, how does this feature impact development practices on GitHub? To study this, we divided our work into two phases. The first is an empirical study analyzing GitHub suggested changes. For our first research question, we categorized types of suggested changes using an open coding technique. And then we looked at the effectiveness of suggested changes, specifically how often the code is accepted and the timing of recommendations compared to pull request review or comments that contain snippets of code without the ability to automatically apply or the diff format. And then we also looked at metrics measuring the impact on pull requests from prior work, specifically looking at the timing, development activity, and interactions between developers. Our results for phase one show that suggested changes are an effective recommendation system for developers, and I'd be happy to explore more of this in our discussion section, and it can also be found in the paper. For phase two, we collected qualitative feedback from developers by conducting a survey, specifically interested in the usefulness or what developers liked and disliked about this feature. Our survey contained Likert scale questions as well as open-ended questions, and for the free response results, we also performed an open coding technique to gain more insight into this feature. Our results show that developers really liked the suggested changes feature for receiving recommendations as well as making recommendations to other developers. Our qualitative analysis provided us with two themes. The first is user-driven communication, or making recommendations in a way that's clear and understandable for developers. And then also workflow integration, or being able to easily adopt recommendations or easily make recommendations without having to change the existing processes in the development workflow. Thanks for your time, and I'm excited to share more about this in the discussion section.